Welcome to The Explainer. I am so pumped you're joining me today because we are looking at a company that is absolutely shaking up the entire automotive landscape. We're tracking the wild evolution of Rivian. We'll be moving pretty fast today, looking at how they started from a quiet, under-the-radar startup to becoming this major player with a totally distinct vision. We're going to cover their origins, what real drivers actually think of the cars, those exciting new models about to hit the streets, and their massive, ambitious roadmap for an AI-driven future. Let's get right into it.
So who is truly challenging the electric vehicle giants today? It's literally the question everyone in the industry has been asking. For a long time, the EV space was dominated by just a few massive players, and the usual legacy automakers trying to catch up. But there is this fiercely ambitious underdog that's been quietly carving out a completely unique identity in a super crowded market. And as you're going to see, they haven't just positioned themselves to compete, they're setting themselves up to lead.
Okay, let's dive right into how this all started. Because if there's one word that defines Rivian's early days, it's patience. The company was founded way back in 2009 in Florida by RJ Scaringe, and they definitely didn't just rush a car out the door. Actually, fun fact, they initially started prototyping a mid-engine hybrid sports car, but by 2011, they scrapped that whole idea to focus entirely on electric and autonomous vehicles, realizing they could make a much bigger impact. Notice that massive gap between 2009 and 2021? They spent well over a decade meticulously building their foundation. And a total masterstroke happened in 2017 when they swooped in and bought a shuttered Mitsubishi plant in Normal, Illinois for just $16 million. By the time they launched their blockbuster IPO and finally shipped the first R1T truck in 2021, they had actually beaten industry heavyweights like GM, Ford, and Tesla in getting a fully electric pickup to everyday consumers.
And right out of the gate, Rivian completely differentiated themselves from the pack. Instead of building, these sleek, aerodynamic sedans just meant for a morning commute, they leaned hard into a rugged, outdoor lifestyle vibe. They built their vehicles on this really clever, unique skateboard platform. The R1 models give you 14 inches of ground clearance, they can literally wade through over 3 feet of water, and they use a quad motor layout that controls each wheel independently. Basically, they engineered an EV that can rival a supercar's acceleration on the pavement, but then turn around and confidently crawl up a 45-degree rocky incline. It's wild.
Now you might be wondering, does all that fancy engineering actually translate to a good driving experience? Well, the data says yes. In the 2025 EV Driver Annual Survey Report by Plug-in America, Rivian straight up comes out on top. The R1T pickup secured an 80.8% overall satisfaction score, and the R1S SUV is right on its heels at 80.7%. Both of those models actually beat out the Tesla Model S. So Rivian didn't just build a cool, capable truck. They built an experience that currently delivers the highest overall satisfaction among EV drivers anywhere. And when you dig a little deeper into the data, you see exactly how Rivian is beating those massive legacy brands in the really practical, day-to-day categories. Take cargo space, for example. A staggering 96% of R1T drivers and 94.3% of R1S drivers rate their vehicles as exceptional for cargo. They even edged out the massively popular Ford F-150 Lightning. Whether packing up camping gear for a week off the grid or just doing a massive Costco run, Rivian's thoughtful, utility-first design just hits the mark. With features like their unique gear tunnels and those massive front trunks, the frunks, they clearly just get how people actually use their vehicles.
But the R1 vehicles, as amazing and beloved as they are, really served a very specific purpose. Rivian's chief design officer, Jeff Hammoud, called the R1 line their handshake with the world. It proved their tech worked, it established their serious off-road credibility, but, let's be honest, it came at a premium price. Now, though, we're looking at a massive pivot for the company. Contrast that flagship line with their upcoming generation, the R2 and R3. These are built on a totally new mid-size platform. They're designed specifically for the mass market, which means they're way easier to manufacture, highly accessible, and built for rapid global scaling.
Which brings us to an absolutely crucial number, $45,000. That is the super aggressive expected starting price for the upcoming R2 SUV. To put that into perspective, Rivian estimates that the R2 will cost less than half the revenue per unit to produce compared to the R1. This price point is the real game changer here. It's exactly what takes Rivian from being a niche luxury adventure brand and turns them into a true mainstream high-volume competitor. Now, even though the R2 is a smaller, much more affordable SUV, it fiercely protects that iconic Rivian DNA. You still get the boxy silhouette and those totally distinctive headlights, but it's designed to perfectly balance everyday city utility with weekend adventure. Check this out. All 4 passenger windows, the rear quarter windows, and even the powered rear glass can completely drop down to invite the outside in. And the seats, they fold completely flat so you can just throw a sleeping bag back there and go car camping. It's the full Rivian experience, just perfectly condensed.
And here's the best part. A lower price tag absolutely does not mean lower performance. The engineering feats they're packing into the R2 and the compact R3 lines are kind of mind-blowing. We are talking over 300 miles of range on a single charge, and the top configurations will hit 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. A huge chunk of this efficiency comes from a really smart, consolidated design using an all-new 4695 battery cell. It's in a structural pack where the top of the battery actually serves as the floor of the vehicle. So what does that mean for you? It means a lighter car, a roomier interior, and native fast charging that zaps you from 10% to 80% in under 30 minutes. Basically, less production complexity equals a better, much more capable vehicle for the driver.
To actually pull all of this off, Rivian is scaling up their manufacturing ambitions in a massive way at their Normal, Illinois facility. They've substantially completed a huge factory expansion that's designed to pump out up to 155,000 R2 vehicles every single year. And the momentum they have right now is undeniable. In fact, the very first validation units of the R2 recently started rolling off the production line just days after an EF1 tornado literally ripped off a section of the factory roof. I mean, talk about resilience. They just kept pushing forward to meet their launch goals. Okay, so the hardware is incredible, but that is only half the story. Rivian is making a massive leap into AI with what they call the Rivian Autonomy Platform. The R2 and all their future models are going to feature this super advanced perception stack packed with 11 cameras and 5 radars. Underpinning the whole shebang is Rivian Unified Intelligence, a data foundation that powers everything from predicting when you need maintenance to executing enhanced highway driving. Plus, in early 2026, they're rolling out the Rivian Assistant, which is a next-generation voice interface that promises to radically change how we actually talk to and interact with our cars. And let me tell you, the market is definitely paying attention to this autonomous tech. 50,000. That is the staggering number of all-electric robo-taxis that the rideshare behemoth Uber is planning to deploy, and they're starting right off the bat with the new R2 SUV. This huge rollout comes alongside a massive $1 billion investment from Uber directly into Rivian. That is a gigantic vote of confidence in Rivian's end-to-end AI and software ecosystem. And this all perfectly aligns with CEO RJ Scaringe's futuristic vision for the company. He stated that his ultimate goal is to create an autonomous vehicle that goes beyond driving and that is able to run and coordinate tasks and errands for people. Just think about that for a second. They don't just want to build a cool truck you take to the mountains on the weekend. They are trying to build an autonomous vehicle that acts more like a personal assistant. Imagine your car picking up your groceries while you are still sitting at your desk at work. It would completely transform what a car actually does in our daily lives. The broader financial world is taking serious notice of this momentum too. Beyond the successful vehicle launches and that massive Uber partnership, Rivian also locked in a $1 billion equity investment from the Volkswagen Group. And VW paid a 33% premium on Rivian's stock price to get it. This is part of an up to $5.8 billion joint venture between the two companies. So you have major traditional legacy automakers actively investing billions of dollars just to get access to Rivian's foundational electrical architecture and their software. Which really leaves us with this final thought to chew on. We've just seen how they patiently built an incredible, rock-solid foundation. We saw how they completely dominated customer satisfaction with their premium R1 lineup. And now they are unleashing the mass-market R2 alongside some seriously cutting-edge autonomous AI. So will Rivian's unique blend of off-road adventure, advanced tech, and affordable scaling make them the defining car company of the next decade? The pieces are absolutely all in place, and this is definitely a space you are going to want to keep watching. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and keep learning.